Double H here, double H here, double H here. Talk Smack in HD. HD. Avengers. Or Avengers, you know, Japanese trailer. I watched Avengers. I watched it, okay. Let me just do a little brief history of my thing about this film. Before going into this film, and it's something that I probably still hold, I think it's a stupid idea to do in an Avengers film. An Avengers film can't work. It's an element so fantastical, so out of this world that it can only work in a comic book. As in, it's just it's impossible for you to really take it plausibly and serious. It's even serious, it's so outrageous that it can only be done either in a comic book or if it's done CGI. Everything is fully CGI, like a Blizzard kind of thing, you know. I just thought the idea of just Hulk and all those guys, I just thought, no, it's too much for a film. It doesn't make sense. I've never been a fan of Joss Whedon as well. You know, not really a fan of this whole Twilight, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Dollhouse, Dollland. Not really been a fan of that kind of stuff, you know. So, you know, take it as you have it or leave it or whatever, you know. So going into this, I was skeptical. You know, I thought the only good thing about this thing would be the Sylvester soundtrack, which I think is on point. I just think that's the soundtrack is on point, and my goodness, there's an Avengers theme. You know, there's a theme, you know, and only if a certain character actually had a theme, you know, might actually help. But that's for another discussion. So yeah, you know, getting into Avengers, was skeptical. Thought that, okay, let's just have a bit of fun here, because I saw with a Nigerian amigo of mine who's a massive Thor fan and was waiting for this. But even before going to watch this film, looking at the TV spots, I tried to tell them, oh, this is oh no, this is useless. What's this thing? Is this pointless? Blah blah blah. I mean, it's just going to be a waste of time, you know. But then, as I was watching those TV spots, I was getting excited. I was getting excited, and I was thinking, wait, shouldn't I be hating this? Why am I getting excited? You know, and the Super Bowl TV spots, all the TV spots for this, I was just getting like, this actually looks exciting. It actually looks like a lot of fun, you know. And just before going in there, I was actually genuinely excited to actually watch the film, you know. Regarding the film now, okay, it got off to a slow start. You know, you're really finding out about what this cube of power that wield that can wield that like an army, summons an army from the outworld, which Loki has in possession. So it's sort of a bit slow. So you like sort of like say, okay, where is this going? So I think that, oh, okay, this might be a bit iffy. But when the movie kicks in and you really see them amassing all the guys coming in, the film just, from that point on when they really start to get everybody together and you see the interactions with Nick Fury and how he's pretty much the guy who guys, you know, may not really or may not really trust, and how he's actually at the center of all these different characters around here. You know, what's it called? Captain America, Thor, Iron Man, Hulk, you know, Black Widow, Hawkeye, how they just all come together and the interactions and their characterizations. I mean, it was just interesting. And I think that's something that is actually very, very rare in comic book films. Was one of actually, because guys will talk about, oh, the action, this, all that kind of stuff. But I think one of the bright spots was the writing. You know, was actually the writing on this stuff. And for me, I've never really been into the wedding stuff because he saw stuff about, you know, women beating up men. You know, it's not really my kind of thing, really, you know. But because again, I've not seen Serenity, I've not seen Firefly, but obviously the Mech actually recommends that, but I never really saw those things. So I didn't really see what's his take on just like regular stuff with just guys, you know. But watching this stuff, when I mean the characterizations, the dialogue between guys, man, I just thought it was very good, very well realized. I mean, it felt just very genuine, and it just felt a good energy there. As in, when looking at this thing, it's made me very happy, in a sense of not all comic books need to be edgy or gritty or dark. I mean, this This film is the exact opposite of dark. I mean, it's extremely lighthearted, extremely positive, heroic, and but there's an integrity to it. There's a seriousness to it. It's not slapstick like Spider Man, like Raimi Man and Spider Man, you know. Um, so yeah, I mean, but as the film went on, man, I was like, can I really hate this film? You know, and this just before really the action really kicks in. Now, just the character interaction between each other. But I say, no, this actually seems. I'm actually very interested. Obviously, it could also be based on a slow start, but once the guys really get together and you really see the kind of frictions between one another, man. I mean, it just because everybody did a really good acting job. You know, Mark Ruffalo did really well. I've always been like a fan of his acting. Really, you know, he did really well. What's it called? For me, Chris Evans. I just think he's a really good Captain America because again, that's a very hard character to really give some juice to, and I just think he actually has a good knack for a hard character to make interesting. You know, obviously Danny Jr. does his thing as Iron Man, and I actually think that this is probably the best that he's actually been as Iron Man within just within writing and just within this. So that's actually the best he's actually been as Iron Man because he's kind of quips and stuff like that. It's pretty much kept on a bit of a leash. Yeah, he still does it, but it's kept on a nice little leash, you know. And there's actually a lot more grounding to his character in this. But yeah, man. I mean, everyone again for Miss Scarlett Johansson, she can't act, so it's like you can write Mario Puzo stuff up, but she can't write. I mean, she just can't act. So there you go. Jeremy Renner again. He's just a guy who is good in everything. I mean, the guy just in everything I've seen him in. Hot Locker, the Town, even this trailer for this newborn. He's just good. So he's always good, you know. Samuel L. Jackson for me, like as Nick Fury. I mean, what? He's Nick Fury. You know, he's just his presence and his aura is just because again, you know. He's just pretty much just changed the whole dynamic and the whole psychology of how you even view and think about Nick Fury now, you know. So everybody was just, was very much on point. But again, just waiting, have to give the guy props. But when the action kicks in this film, I mean, Hulk, because guys, we're talking about this thing, but guys, you are not ready for Hulk, man. You really are not ready for Hulk. I mean, I just plead that you watch this thing in a cinema that has massive sound, but because only true fans who really understand what comics are about, who are really young and still have that immaturity about them, will have to give this thing 2 thumbs up. When you see Hulk in this thing, man, I mean, because I don't want to spoil things for people, because I just think that's just when you see Hulk in this movie, man. There are some bits that just got because the cinema I was in was not really that full. It was not that full, but the cheers, the reactions to some of the stuff that Hulk did was, But I mean, there's a little bout that Hulk has against Thor, which basically just when you watch it, man. I mean, there were just some things when I actually was like, whoa, but. And even as well for me, like I can't remember the last comic book movie I saw that had as much energized and energetic action as this. I mean, the only thing I can think of is obviously that in recent memory, obviously we had Blade, which is obviously the best action comic book film out there. I mean, the action in that was just stupendous. Sin City, I thought the action for a comic that was amazingly well done, but just the energy of this action, and you really felt guys were really fighting guys, and I can't really see, because I can't really say that about many films. I mean, even in Iron Man 1, I couldn't even see the fight. It was all shaky cam. Thor, it was all wishy-washy, but in this thing, where they just managed, you could tell that this guy is a geek. You could tell that this guy really captured the real essence of what it means to make of what makes comic book movies good, just that kind of immaturity, that childishness about it. But within that childishness, there's an integrity to it. There is still a responsibility to still deliver like a film, So yeah, man. For me, looking at just finishing the film, I was like, okay, I still feel it's a dumb idea. It still doesn't really fully work, and it's still not the same as reading the comic book because of the limitations of film and obviously technology as well. Okay, you can talk about, okay, the enemies are just pretty much, it's pretty much like Transformers. Like, you don't really care about them. They're not really that well inspired. I thought Loki, again, he did it. I thought his acting was good in Thor. I didn't really think it deserved all the kind of massive praise that it got, but I thought that his performance in this was really good. I mean, he really did a really good acting performance for a villain. Very good. I mean, thumbs up. And again, what's it called? Chris Hemsworth again as Thor. Good. Everybody was on point. Everybody was on point. So yeah, no, but okay, you can talk about, okay, the enemies not really that inspired. Maybe I've wanted like much more of like an epic end, like a much more of an epic fight that took place amongst different locations that's actually had different levels within the final battle, different stages within it, and different gauges, goes up and goes down, different emotions within the battle that's had different kind of textures to it. Okay, but it's okay, maybe they were limited by budgets, by time, all the kind of things, but I won't lie to myself. Again, and remember, this is based off a first watch. Just how after I came out of Darkness for the first watch, I was like, oh man, that's the new wave of film, but Batman's not in it. Coming out of this first watch again, second watch, I may have a slightly different view, but coming out of that first watch, my first thought was Hulk. I mean, the guy was just insane. I mean, just ridiculous. Please watch this film with an amazing sound system and a massive screen, because the sound in the cinema was rubbish, and the picture didn't even cover most of the screen. So, and even with those limitations, it was still crazy. So I actually would want to definitely see it in a great massive screen with better sound than the one I saw it in the cinema. But just the characters, man, just the feeling, and there was the I think of X-Men when I watched this film. Because there is such a great responsibility done within this film. I mean, Captain America, he is the leader. He's presented as that. It's not Iron Man. You see in the trailers how Iron Man is pushed forward, but when you watch that thing, Captain America is the main man who is really leading and organizing everything, and just in the day and age of everybody wants to be dark and gritty, Spider-Man is now basically at night. Everything is edgy and gritty, following this whole Dark Knight trend. It's like, Batman is dark. I'm sorry, Batman can't be anywhere. He has to be dark. Not everything has to be dark. So Superman isn't dark. I don't want to hear the word dark or darkness compared to Superman. And for this thing, Avengers, man, it's so good to see a very well-made comic book movie that's actually light. It's actually positive, and it's actually heroic. Like, I came out feeling good. I felt feeling, wow, man, Avengers, man, this is, heroic here. This guy is saving the day, blah, blah, And I've not felt that in a film in a comic book movie for a very long time. Like, a genuine heroic feeling. Like, to be honest, the last time I felt a genuine, heroic, cheesy, good old, archetypal heroic feeling from a film was Superman. It was Superman. Everything else has just been real dark, real. Spider-Man tried to obviously do it, but was just cheesy and slapstick. And obviously you have characters that are a lot more edgy and darker, like Blade, the characters in Sin City, Batman, and so forth, which are obviously darker, edgier characters, But for the good old heroic thing, man, I mean, Avengers, man, I mean, I'm like, I'll be lying to myself if I just say, oh no, this film is honest, it's cheesy, it's bad. Again, it's not a masterpiece, it's not great, but for my goodness, man, this is a hard film to make. You have to realize that this is not an easy film to make. It's a hard film to really get all these guys together and really balancing out all of the characters and make sure that, because everybody has their time to shine. Nobody gets shunned, and it's hard to really put a film out there where everybody really has their day in the limelight. But I just think that this is an important film. It's an important film because there is a trend of gritty, dark, and yeah, that's all well and good, but it's like sometimes we want to go to the movies to actually escape, to actually feel happy. And Bay uses that as an argument of, oh no, Transformers is for feeling and escapist and just, fun, and I just don't take things too serious. That's good, but your film's rubbish. Your script is a joke. Okay? Spider-Man, no, this thing is just slapstick, it's stupid. Avengers is that, yeah, this is we're about fun and being escapist, but there's still some integrity there, talking about what it means to be a hero, old-fashioned heroic psychology still being prevalent in the world today and being an eternal concept, and working together for a common cause and for the common good, and just good old-fashioned heroic themes. Something that you don't see anymore. Everything's about dark, grim, and the thing that people don't get is that no matter what society we ever live in for all time, the concepts, the classic archetypal heroic concepts that you see in this Avengers will always hit home. If it's done well, it's done properly as it's done in this Avengers, people will eat it up. I'm sorry, I came out of that film feeling very happy. I came out of that film feeling like, wow, man, I feel energized. I feel like, wow, always I feel like smashing something like Hulk, but yeah, I feel energized, and you just don't get that in many films today. So, Avengers, man, I have to just say that, for me, personally, I have to put it out there that I can't give Marvel money, hence why I paid for another movie which I can't say and just went to go and watch it, because I just think that if people know about what Marvel are doing to Gary Friedrich, the creator of Ghost Rider, you will understand how Marvel are a very, very, very corrupt, conniving, greedy company. Extremely greedy, conniving company. And, just gotta put it out there, just Google Gary Friedrich, the creator of Ghost Rider, and what Marvel have been trying to do to this man. So it's just unfortunate that, obviously Marvel just linked in with what's, for me, it's a very good product. It's a very good product. This Avengers is a very good product. And forget about those Marvel greedy guys. Just focus on the creators of this, which is obviously Whedon and the guys that put together, man. If you don't come out of this movie feeling energized, happy, just a positive feeling about it, then either you're a manic, depressive, or you're just lying to yourself, or you're just strange. As in, for any true comic book fan, you come out of that film, you're like, man, two thumbs up. 2 thumbs up. As in the energy, I've not seen energy like this in a comic book movie since City. Of capturing the true energy of a comic book. I've not seen this since City. As in there were just scenes in this thing where I was like, man, this feels like a comic book. This is capturing just that boom, boom, boom that you feel whenever you're reading comic, when a guy just smacks a guy in the face. Because like that's the thing, like I just want to just see a guy punch a guy in the face. Is that too hard to ask? There's all this shaky cam. I can't see what's happening. Trying to be artistic. I just want to just see a guy smack a guy in the face. Okay, and I want you to fully give you that feeling of like, yeah, this guy really smacked this guy in his face. When Thor holds the hammer, he uses his hammer. When Hulk, that's what I'm going to say. I don't even want to say anything. When Hulk, okay, Hulk. I think to end this, the best way to actually end this thing is Hulk.